Right, so in today's video then we're going to have a look at convergence and synergy, specifically focusing on Pokemon Go. So we should be aware that convergence is using multiple platforms to market a brand or product, or simply just where a product uses multiple different platforms within that sort of individual product itself. So if we're thinking about Pokemon Go and its convergence, or how it used convergence, obviously we've got the video games that exist, but we also have a website, and we're going to come onto the website in a minute. I'm going to go through those annotations of the website for you. We've also got social media links as well. So it has Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, which we could class as a separate level of convergence because it's specifically dealing with the video side of things rather than communicating with the audience. And we've got the trading cards as well, plus stickers, so sort of more traditional elements of convergence used within the Pokemon Go sort of franchise or the Pokemon Go product. Plus a television show for the sort of Pokemon as a whole, and it's got a very recognisable theme tune that at one point was released as an actual single, so we can see that there's an awful lot of convergence here surrounding just that one individual product. Now, focusing on the website in particular, excuse me if you hear any barking, my dog is feeling like he needs to contribute to this video. Okay, so looking at the website then, this is the website as a whole, rather this is the home page as a whole. So you can find this pretty straightforward, pretty easily. It might have changed since I took these screenshots, but the same sort of features apply. So you can literally screenshot it yourself and see what you can apply to this. Starting off then, as usual, we've got things that apply to the browser as a whole. So the tabs at the top of the home page are part of the web browser. They open up different web pages for us, like the Pokemon Go homepage. We've also got a URL which contains breadcrumbs, and it might be that for websites such as Pokemon Go, the breadcrumbs take you to a separate location in the website as a whole. So for instance, we might have found ourselves, how to explain this? If we look at that URL, we might find that actually instead of going to the Pokemon Go webpage and that being a standalone webpage itself, that we've gone through the Pokemon website and ended up at Pokemon Go. Hopefully that makes sense. It also states, interestingly though, what language the website is in, because it's got a little GB code in there as well, so you know exactly where you're looking or what part of the country you're from, what language you're looking at on the website through those breadcrumbs. Now, the logo itself for the website contains a very iconic imagery. Not only does it use the original Pokemon logo, but we've also got the Pokeball in the centre of the O, and we've got a sort of imagery of the sort of globe outline, which we can see, suggesting obviously that it's playable all over the place. We've also got icons, I forgot to mention, at the top of the page. These conduct a variety of functions, but many of them will be repeated throughout the website anyway. Now, the background acts as a sort of slideshow because you might get a slightly different background if you go to the Pokemon Go website, and it does, I think, scroll through those. Like the mobile phone image, this changes. It's based on a timer. So every time the page is accessed and refreshed, you get a slightly different perspective, which keeps it interesting for the demographic. The phone is layered over the top of the background. It also provides a sense of product placement because we can actually see the game happening here. Now, there are synergy links with companies underneath because it shows us where it can be downloaded from. We've also got buttons with recognisable symbols. So this one here has got the play icon. So that links to the idea that this is a game. And the buttons also act as incentives because we as a sort of species find that we can't leave a button unpressed, we have to click it, and so websites use that and play on that to get us to go to different places. The heading includes imperative terms, get up, go, so they're acting as orders for us, and it makes us feel like we actually have to do this. And we also have links to a trailer. So this is part of that convergence. We've sort of got convergence within convergence. We've got Pokemon Go, which uses a website, and then within the website we've got links to the YouTube page to watch the trailer itself. The Pokeball is very iconic. It's brand identity because it spans across all of the different parts of the franchise. You don't just see it in Pokemon Go, you see it in every sort of Pokemon game. We also have further product placement and synergy with the sort of flagship Nintendo brand, and the fact that we've got games released, or sort of hard copies of games released rather than just apps as well. Further convergence is used at the bottom. We've got icons for recognisable social media, and we've also got logos for the contributing companies at the bottom. Now that bottom section of a website is normally a very legal aspect, so they have to include certain things in order to credit the people who worked on it. But we've also got small print and other hyperlinks to things like the accessibility, which is sort of written very fine at the bottom of the page. The copy that we've got on the page is in sans serif font, so that shows that it again is quite informal. We don't expect Pokemon or Pokeballs or anything like that to be a particularly sophisticated brand, but it's white so that it stands out against the colour palette. And because we've got such bright and vivid images in the background, they've had to sort of place a translucent box behind that text to really make it stand out so that we can read it. Now the second section of the website is below the scroll, so that initial page up at the top where we see Pokemon Go with the sort of get up and go, that bit is the home page itself, or sort of the home screen. And then as you start to go further down the page, so the two play buttons that you can see just here, this is the start of below the scroll. So there's a sort of line here that forms that scroll line. So we have to be an active audience if we want to see anything else on the website, because we actually have to take an interest and scroll further down the website in order to find that information. The thin sort of tab-like banner at the top of the page indicates it's got a broad demographic because it can be viewed across the globe. That's referring to this little bit here where you can see the Union Jack flag, so you could change the language and that would then change the breadcrumbs as well. But we also have a wider banner at the top which has got icons for individual parts of the franchise. They've got their own individual logos and they can take us to different parts of the Pokemon website as a whole. Now, as well as convergence, it's also worthwhile looking at synergy. Synergy is where two or more companies are working together for mutual gain. So obviously in terms of our synergy for Pokemon Go, we've got the video games as a whole. Now they form a part of synergy because we've got not only Niantic being a part of this, but we've got Nintendo being a part of this. We've got the app stores who are involved as well in terms of Pokemon Go. But a more obvious element of synergy is the merchandise that we can buy. We've also got this augmented reality aspect, which allows us to have Pokestops that are based on specific locations. And again, things like the trading cards could appear as synergy as well, and the stickers as well, because they are not only made by Nintendo and Pokemon, but they're also partnered with magazine companies like D'Agostini and all that sort of stuff. It's worthwhile overall though for you guys to be aware of these different forms of synergy, because you might get asked about convergence and synergy in terms of the industry for Pokemon Go. A few key terms for us today then. Perhaps have a look at some of these, pick out the ones you're not sure of and write their definitions down. Please subscribe, hit the button below, and if you would like to get in touch with me you can do so through the comments section or through Twitter at media_revision. I'll see you guys later for another video.